Morning, everyone. Let's give everybody a minute here to come in. All right, thank you all for joining us today. I'm Janelle Rainey, Head of Product Marketing, and I'll be moderating today's event. A few housekeeping items. Please go ahead and add your questions to the Q&A panel, and we'll try to get to as many questions as possible. We are recording this webinar, and we'll send it out later. We are excited to provide you with an update on our recent progress and an opportunity to ask Eric and a few of our top product team members questions. Today, we're going to have Eric, our founder and CEO, provide an update on our progress since our last webinar on August 19th. Oded Gall, our Chief Product Officer, will then recap some recent and upcoming product and security updates to our platform. And then we'll have Adam Rudderman, our new Head of Vulnerability Management and Bug Bounty, join us to provide an update on our program. And lastly, we'll open it up for Q&A. With that, I'll turn it over to Eric. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, thank you, Janelle. And thank you all for joining me today. And I really appreciate your time. So we're very excited to welcome you all back to our webinar, which we are continuing to host every month as part of our ongoing commitment to be transparent with our users and also to provide privacy, security, and product updates. Since our last update in mid-August, we have continued to bolster our privacy and the security teams. I'm also very delighted to share that we have appointed Jeff Chu as our General Counsel. And Jeff has over 20 years of experience leading and scaling legal department for tech companies. And Jeff's experience will be very helpful for Zoom as we continue to grow and keep people around the world connected through a secure and frictionless video communications platform. Beyond just the new hires, since last month's webinar, we have released additional security and safety features across our UCaaS portfolio to help our users better secure their meetings. Oded Gall will share more detail on those initiatives, but one such example is two-factor authentication, which was recently expanded to our desktop and mobile apps. As you have heard me say, privacy and security is embedded in everything we do at Zoom now, and these actions show our continued commitment to these key areas. So looking ahead, I'm also very excited to share that we are less than a month away from our annual user conference. Very exciting, Zoomtopia, which will be held virtually over Zoom platform on October 14th and 15th. Featuring over 150 inspiring speakers, more than 80 thought-provoking sessions, and over 10 in-depth tracks. Our packed agenda will also include upcoming product updates and deep dive sessions into security. Also, to give you an idea of what this year's Zoomtopia is going to be like, here are the highlights from last year's Zoomtopia event.
This year's Zoomtopia, nothing is impossible. With 8 years of Zoom history, I want to express my sincere appreciation.
Wow, time flies. I do miss those exciting moments. So we look forward to seeing you all there and next month. With that, I now turn it over to our Chief Product Officer, Odette Gale.
Thank you, Eric. Let me walk you through some recent upcoming safety and security features. Over the past few weeks, we have deployed a number of updates. We enhanced our two-factor authentication feature to make it easier for admins and organizations to protect their users. We added SMS, phone call, and recover codes to all clients and Zoom rooms. We're now providing owners and admins more granular control over where their meetings are hosted in the EU. Accordingly, Germany, the Netherlands, and Ireland are now listed as individual data centers that can be enabled or disabled for hosting real-time meeting and webinar traffic. Account owners and admins can now upload and manage virtual backgrounds at the user or group level for their account. This is important for schools, and enterprises can also use this for brand consistency with customer-facing teams. And finally, on Zoom Chat, for security and privacy purposes, admins of channels can view external contact details such as name, email address, and the date they were added to the channel. The admin has the ability to remove the external contact completely from their account. Now, I'll hand it over to Adam Redman, our Head of Vulnerability Management and Bug Bounty, who will share more about our revamped program.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Oded. It's an honor to be here, and I'm excited to have the opportunity today to share more information about Zoom's vulnerability management and bug bounty programs. But before I dive into details, I want to share a little information about myself. I have about 15 years of experience in the security industry with a specialization in product security. Most recently, I was the director of bug bounty services at NCC Group. And prior to that, I ran Facebook's bug bounty program. I'm really excited to bring my expertise and to further strengthen Zoom's security program, and even more thrilled to be working with the fantastic and talented team that we have here. Now, let me walk you through some background information and talk through what we're doing around our bug bounty and vulnerability disclosure programs. So to start, often I hear common questions about the terms that are used in the security research community. And so I thought it'd be good to help provide some context and baseline everyone. So what's a vulnerability disclosure program? They're also known as VDPs. And these are kind of the security equivalent of if you see something, say something, safety programs that you see on public transit. VDPs are formalized, and they publish a process for companies to be alerted to potential security vulnerabilities uncovered by third-party security researchers around the world. The important thing to note is that because they're if you see something, say something sort of program, they typically don't have monetary rewards. On the other hand, bug bounty programs sound very similar, but they utilize monetary rewards to incentivize ethical security research within the security community. The monetary reward levels that programs set are very wildly, and these programs match their levels to this payout levels to skill sets and the types of relationships that a company wishes to build with the community. So these programs can be either public or private, though most are private, and they gauge the way they do this depending upon the way they want to build that relationship. So today, we have two private bug bounty programs on the two largest bug bounty platforms, one with HackerOne and one with BugCrowd. We also have a vulnerability disclosure program in place for submissions sent to security@zoom.us. Now, while I'm relatively new to Zoom, we've made a number of improvements recently, which started in earnest with the 90-day plan back in April. Since the time, we've implemented some notable changes to our vulnerability management and bug bounty programs. So for example, we've centralized coordination and tracking of vulnerability remediation. We've also improved our responsiveness to security researcher reports that come in. And we've also started growing the team that focuses on product security incident response, vulnerability management, and bug bounty. Looking ahead, we are rapidly evolving to further enhance our vulnerability management and bug bounty programs. We will improve transparency by first launching a new trust center on our website, which will have a number of resources all in one place. For example, they'll provide regular public disclosures through our CVEs and coordinate publications. And we'll be publishing regular security bulletins related to Zoom product releases. We will be striving to enhance our engagement with the community by gathering more feedback from them and improving coordination with those that are reporting security issues to Zoom. Ultimately, all of this is to help us build and become one of the best bug bounty programs on the internet. So let's go into a little bit more detail about what this will look like. So at Zoom, we really want to closely collaborate with and really create great experiences for those who help us make Zoom more secure. So to achieve this vision, here are 4 concrete actions that we are intending to take. First, we're going to be launching an improved vulnerability disclosure program. With the launch of our new Trust Center portal on www.zoom.us, that will have a publicly visible disclosure program terms, and we'll be using HackerOne to manage those submissions. In addition, we are going to be rebooting our private programs. I will be revamping these programs by increasing the payouts, increasing the number of researchers, and providing unique research opportunities for our top researchers. Then we'll also be running live hacking events with our vendors. We will organize these live hacking events to validate our progress and to build deeper relationships in order to create new collaborative opportunities with the researcher community. And finally, we will launch a public bug bounty program, but we're exploring creative forms how to do this, and so we can create great experiences and unique engagements, opportunities to engage with security researchers. With that, I'll hand it back to Janelle. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam. And let's jump into the Q&A. And I would also like to welcome Brendan Idelson, who is our Chief Technology Officer. And we also have Lynn Holland, who is our, you have new titles there. Lynn, what's your new title?
Thank you so much for asking. Actually, they're the same old titles, but it's Chief Compliance and Ethics Officer and also Chief Privacy Officer here at Zoom.
Excellent. Welcome, Lynn. Good to see you back.
Thank you so much.
Great. Let's jump into a few of our product questions. Dad, can you talk about how Unmute All works now?
Yes, definitely. First of all, I want to really stress out that the changes we've made are all around privacy, in the sense that if I'm an attendee who joins the meeting, I want to be sure that if I mute myself or someone else has muted me, no one can unmute me without me kind of giving consent to the person who unmutes me. It really is important to us that we keep the privacy so that people feel safe that when they're on a meeting, no one can unmute them accidentally or without them knowing about it. So that's just wanted to start with that. And what we've added to the product is a feature that allows, in the case of, let's say, a classroom, a teacher to really request consent from the specific user to be able to unmute them. And that user, once given the consent to that teacher, a certain host of a meeting, will be giving that consent from that point forward to all the meetings that they join with that host. And that is something that is registered on the client itself of the attendee. And really the idea here is that if you think of a classroom again, the idea is that the first meeting with the teacher really provides that dialogue to the end user, to the attendee, to the student approves. It could be that the parent is joining that first meeting, approves being able to be unmuted, and that from that point forward, the teacher can mute and unmute them at any point of time.
Excellent. A couple of questions on the gallery view. Is there a way to hide the control bar when you're in gallery view?
I'm not sure which control bar they're referring to, but the top control bar goes up and down based on the movement of the mouse.
Excellent. Great. And you recently made some changes to gallery view, correct?
Yeah, we've added the capability to rearrange the gallery view in the sense that you can actually drag and drop the different videos and create whatever order you want as an attendee, but also the host can arrange the gallery order and lock it down so that everyone else follows that same order of videos. And we've done it especially, with having teachers in mind, but it can be used in many other use cases. Really, the idea is to give that flexibility to both the attendee and the host to have more managed view of the gallery mode.
Here's an easy one. Is it possible to make the meeting end and make attendants leave the meeting?
Yeah, so as a host, I have two choices. I can leave the meeting and assign someone else to be the host, or I can just end the meeting for everyone, and then everybody will be kind of disconnected from the meeting itself.
Okay. Is it possible for participants to move freely between breakout rooms as if attending a traditional conference where there are concurrent sessions?
So today, no. Today, this is something that is managed by the host. But I can really share with everyone that this is the top priority feature for breakout rooms that we are working on, and it will be available in a future release in the short term, actually. So stay tuned, it's coming.
Great. A couple of questions around waiting rooms. One is, when I host a meeting without a waiting room, I want to see an image when they arrive. How do I get that image up? Oh, wait, Dad, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, in terms of an image of the participant, you mean?
The waiting room.
I'm not sure. Right now,
ahead,
there is
Eric.
no image that is available on the waiting room. If that's a feature request, we can, make a record of that. There, you can only customize the message that she's showing on the waiting room. You cannot upload an image. So that's something that one of the things that we're looking into in terms of enhancing our waiting room capabilities. It's a good idea, and we've heard it before. So this is something we'll be working on.
Okay, that's great. That was my second question, actually, was it would be great to have messages for guests in waiting rooms that can display on the wall versus just in the chat box. But I think this question was really related to, I'm the host of the meeting, somebody's in the waiting room and I want to see their image before. Can maybe you talk about some of the, I know this is something that's been debated, and I think there's some privacy issues in here as well. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it is a feature that we are also looking for. The idea is, if I'm the host and someone is in the waiting room, I'm the only one who can see the person who is waiting in the waiting room's video. And then based on that, I can agree to put them in the meeting or not. It is kind of a situation where, the host is already exposed to that waiting room if it's to that video, if it's a problematic video. So we're still debating how to build that feature, but it is something that we will do. I know that some people are actually using breakout rooms to support that type of experience, where they put everyone in the meeting and then look at their videos and then move them to a breakout room to really address a similar use case. So that's kind of a workaround. Use breakout rooms if you really need to have that video-based waiting room.
Right. Brendan, can you talk about where the servers are located And then a related question, if I can find it on here, was how do I know for sure that my data is only going through my selected data center?
Great questions. So Zoom has a global footprint of data centers that are supporting meetings. Right now at 19, when we look around the world, and on your user portal, you actually have the ability to customize which data centers are being used. So there is an option that you can turn on, and you can see every single country that we do have servers in, and then opt in or out of leveraging servers in those countries. Naturally, we encourage folks to opt in to those countries where they have participants joining so that they have the fastest connection to Zoom's global network. Now, once you are in a meeting, if you're interested in understanding how you're connected, in the upper left-hand corner, there is a eye icon. And when you click on that, the very last item that you'll see in that dialog will actually say exactly what server you are connected to in order to join the Zoom Global Network.
Excellent. Eric, can you talk a little bit about your commitment to education?
Yeah, I think our commitment to education is very serious, because when we started, our first three paid customers all came from high ed, right? It's very important, and not only for us to offer a greater service and to focus on the education use case, but also especially during this pandemic crisis, even including K-12 schools, right? They also, my kids and a lot of family, their kids also are using Zoom. It is great for us to help the world, to help the people stay connected, and also to give the kids a great way to learn, even if during this pandemic crisis. I'm excited that we are going to continue to invest more and to our education and market in terms of listening to our customers very, very carefully and prioritize those features requested from high ed or the K-12, like a breakout room sessions, like a waiting room enhancement. I think it's very important. And then it's now is not a time for us to focus on the monetization. It's time to focus on the corporate social responsibility to really take care of those users in the education sector.
Related question, I'm interested in Zoom's efforts to provide an affordable solution for classroom distance learning. Typically, they have about 30 concurrent meetings with about 30 participants, 15 in class and 15 remote. Can you talk about the cost, and is a bandwidth a concern?
Yeah, Odette and Brandon, feel free to chime in. So I think for the hybrid setup, like some students in the classroom, some students will join online. I think we got to I think plan it as well. Meaning it's not that straightforward, right? In terms of the camera angle in the classroom and how to set it up, because we do have a solution called Zoom Rooms, right? And for the small size, the big size, how to design and set up Zoom Rooms, and also can work together with our professional service team. And yeah, I think it works, but it's not something like you all join remotely. Not that is straightforward, but that solution does work.
Right, and then we do have discounted pricing for education, which you can find online, and you are welcome to call our sales reps as well.
And also for K-12 schools, and no need, right? So we offer the free service to more than 100,000 K-12 schools around 25 countries. If you are not a part of that program, please let us know. We will add you to our free access program.
Excellent. Ryan, can you help us out with this one? David says some of his kids in class are sharing their meeting IDs and passcodes on social media sites so that the class gets bombed. Is there a difference on paid versus free options in securing a meeting? And what can he do to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, thank you so much, Janelle. I will say that there is no difference. So please know, everybody, whether you're on a paid account or a free account, your Zoom services are the same. We do have some configuration differences, though, specifically that we encourage schools to set for the school setting in particular. So those, for example, if we have locked down screen share so that only the teacher should be the person who's allowed to screen share, and some other things along those lines. But in terms of the free and the other types of licenses that Zoom users may use, that Zoom product is, that security and that privacy is the same. But for the classroom situation in particular, we do encourage folks, students, teachers, parents to take a look at those settings that the school is using. And please make sure that you have all of those security and privacy settings configured in the way that I'm describing. But in addition, not posting the meeting IDs and passwords is really the #1 thing that students and others can do, of course, to prevent any type of, or to reduce the risk of a meeting disruption. So we understand that maybe kids are still doing it, students may still be doing it, but not sharing those meeting IDs and passwords really are the first step. And in addition, again, having the teacher be the only person allowed to screen share, using the waiting room, using a passcode, and some of those other important features really will help reduce the risk.
Excellent, thank you. Christine's asking for security. Is it okay to embed the passcode in the meeting code if you're also using the waiting room? Or is it more secure to have a separate passcode? Odette or Brendan, would you like to talk to
You
that?
can have both passcode and waiting room. It's actually the recommended way to go. And today the passcodes are always embedded into the URL.
Thank you. And Allison's asking, what's the technical difference between a Zoom meeting and a webinar?
So the big difference conceptually between a meeting and a webinar is really the level of interactivity and the scale. In the sense that when you use Zoom meetings, you usually have more of an interactive conversation where everyone is participating, sending the video and audio, asking questions, sharing the screen. With a webinar, it's usually a group of people or one person sharing to a larger group of people. And the idea there is that you have more controls, you have more features that are specific to that type of event. And it really allows you to scale and manage an event that has larger audiences in a better way.
Thank you. Eric, any tips on managing remote teams, ensuring productivity and alignment to goals?
Wow, that's a big question. So we are also learning now, right? So even if we all work from home over the past several months, I think, first of all, I don't think there's any productivity loss, right, in terms of working from home. And I talk with many other customers and partners. Actually, work from home, actually, the productivity is even higher, actually, compared to, when we work in the office, because you can save the commute time. The biggest problem is how to manage the overall experience, like the mental health, right? It's something really serious, right? Because we all work from home for such a long time. How to manage that, and that's very important. And also how to manage the hiring the new employees in terms of new employee orientation, right? It's very different, right? And the onboarding process, I think, focus on the employee mental health and focus on the new employee onboarding process, how to maintain and your company culture. I think that's something we prioritize. We think very important. But like take a productivity, for example. I think with the tools like this, I have more meetings. I talk with more employees, more customers, more partners. I feel more productive. So.
You certainly do seem to have more meetings, but they're meaningful, right? It's with our chat as well. I find that it's just a great way to stay connected with that.
But one tip I learned actually over the past, for the first 3 months, I do not know. Over the past 3 months, I did learn something. I ideally don't schedule too many back-to-back meetings. Proactively stretch, and it's good. No matter how good the Zoom experience is, if you have too many back-to-back meetings, and you might be tired. Yeah.
Good advice. Adam, can you talk about what's the best way to submit a bug to Zoom?
Sure. So right now you have the best option is just to email us at security@zoom.us. If you submit any sort of issue there, it'll get triaged by one of our teams and you'll get a response from us appropriate to really what your question is about.
Excellent. Harry's asking, how do you do closed captioning?
Basically, this is a feature that is available for a host to enable. Once it's enabled for the host, then in a meeting, you can assign someone to do the closed captioning live while the meeting is going, and it will be displayed on the screen as an additional layer. Really, I suggest to go to the zoom.us support site, and there's a kind of an article and even a video that explains exactly how to do that. We can share the article on the Zoom chat.
Great. Does Zoom offer a nonprofit discount? And Eric's nodding, yes. So you can get that through TechSoup, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Great way to get that. And then a couple questions on breakout rooms again. How many can you have in a session?
It's limited to 200, as far as I know. Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong.
The number of breakout rooms is currently dependent on the number of individuals that you want to place in the breakout room. So depending on the relative size, that will adjust how many that you can have. But the interface will walk you through sort of that trade-off on how many you can create versus the number of users that are in it.
Excellent. And then also on breakout rooms, can you ask for help if you're in the breakout room so the host knows that they're needed?
Well, the host itself can, get in and out of a breakout room, but if we need, that's a good idea to have kind of a button that notifies the host that there is an help needed.
It actually does. In breakout rooms, attendees can request help when they're in there. The host can see that. They can jump in that room if they want to.
It's very similar to raising your hand. Yes. Great questions in here. Eric, this is a fun one. What are some of your favorite apps for productivity besides Zoom?
Besides,
you'll say Zoom.
I just look at my cell phone. I have so many apps installed. I would say, in addition to Zoom, Okta, because I use that very often, and always verify my my identity, username, password, because I switch between apps and log in very often. I think Okta is my favorite app for productivity.
Excellent. This is also a fun one. What is one of your favorite moments from a past Zoomtopia?
So,
I'd like to extend that one to Odette and Brendan.
yeah,
as well.
Odette, Brendan, go ahead. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think my favorite is actually walking around the exhibit hall and meeting with the partners and the customers, of course, and kind of having those ad hoc conversations, which in general I missed very much with the current situation. That's my favorite.
And I think I'd echo that. I mean, Zoomtopia for me kind of feels like a family reunion of all these folks that we've been close to and worked side by side. And this is the opportunity that we have to see one another face to face and really connect. And those have been some of my most cherished moments about those events.
Yeah, so my favorite moments are to shake hands with or give a hug to all those customers, partners, and friends. I do miss that a lot. Unfortunately, this year, Odette, please work hard to edit a feature to allow virtual hug, and unfortunately, we cannot do that until this year. So
it's still going to be amazing this year. No Eric hugs, but it will be amazing.
yeah, it is.
All right. I'm seeing more and more about Zoom Phone. Can you tell me what is unique about it? Oded, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Well, really the big aspect of Zoom Phone is the fact that it is built on the same platform as our overall Zoom meetings, in the sense that it has the same level of consistency, reliability, and quality that we have for our meetings is extended to the Zoom Phone capabilities. On top of that, it's also a modern phone system in the sense that you can easily upgrade any phone call to a video call with a single click of a button. And so that ability to really transition from one modality to another is also based on having that single platform that we have for both meetings and phone calls.
To Janelle, just quickly, to add on to what Oded said, Oded is very right about the unique part of the Zoom Phone. And also, you from deployment perspective, one thing that is unique about Zoom Phone is that used to be for every enterprise, you have to deploy two sets of systems. One is for video and web conferencing, another one for the either on-prem or cloud-based phone system. With Zoom Phone, just one system, consistent front-end experience, consistent the same backend architecture, and you also can start from Zoom Phone and can launch the video. I think that's something unique.
Excellent. Yeah, it's just really taken off, and now it's in over 40 countries. It's very feature rich in what you have, and I know people who are working from home, or maybe even going some days in the office and some days at home. They just love that flexibility of it's with them wherever they are. So
I'm at home, right? All the past several months, I always use Zoom Phone. I call my number. I never have a desktop phone, and in the office or at home, so it works very well.
Yeah, it's great. One cell phone, which is nice too. A question about polling questions during a meeting. Is there a limit, and can they be submitted in advance? And the current limit is 25. And yes, you can put them in advance, which you can do in the web client. And they can be saved. A couple of questions around music. And Brendan or Oded, feel free to jump in on these. There's a few people, both Chapman and Elizabeth and a few other people have asked, is there a way to run music in the background? I think these are particularly, one was doing a yoga class and wants to have music.
We have the ability to share computer audio. And so you can run a music file locally on your computer and share that through that feature. That's available today. Brendan, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, so that's a great option if it's sharing sound that's coming from your computer. And then the other one is the enhancements we just did for the original sound, that if you have folks playing instruments on it and you want to get the highest quality for that and the extended range for that, you can turn on the original sound and have it optimized for audio and music.
And if I'm a recording event, are there different audio channels for post editing?
Yeah, so when you do local recording, you have an option that is called record a separate audio file for each participant. And once it's turned on, it will create a folder in your local recording folder on your computer that will have an audio file for each participant.
And Christine's asking, can I show two documents side by side when sharing my screen?
So there are a number of great options there. Naturally, you could share your desktop or the portion of the screen and have both documents open. Or the other thing that we've seen a lot of people do with a side-by-side document is we have the ability for multiple shares. So actually two people in the meeting can both share their desktop or the document, and individuals can flip between them. Or in the case of a Zoom room, you can actually have one screen have each of the shared windows up so that folks can see multiple windows at once. I know on our engineering team, we love it for collaborative coding and code reviews. Sorry, Oded.
Yeah, it works well if you have 2 monitors or an additional monitor. So yeah, we use it a lot.
And Amin, I hope I pronounced your name right. What's the best way to schedule meetings and to see conflict?
Well, basically, we have our calendar add-in for both Microsoft and Google, and you can use the capabilities of the calendar itself to be able to understand whether or not the person that you're inviting is available or not, the same way you would do any kind of meeting, and you add to that meeting that you scheduled using that calendar a Zoom link using that calendar add-in. There's also other tools. For example, you can integrate Zoom with Calendly that allows you to schedule with external people that are not in your organization, where you can see their calendar availability using your calendar app. And they also have integration with Zoom. So once you find the right availability for that external person you want to meet, it will put in a Zoom link as well.
Could two-factor authentication also work as a second layer with enterprise single sign-on logins?
It's a great question with respect to two-factor. Typically in the enterprise space, what we have seen is that if folks are enabling two-factor, they'll do it on their SSO system as opposed to Zoom, so that they have the benefit of the two-factor authentication across all the corporate applications that they're using and not just the Zoom platform. But we do have two-factor within Zoom itself for folks that are not using single sign-on.
When someone enters our meeting via a landline phone, how can we force them to give their name? One thought is we could have them state their name verbally when connecting and then transliterating that name for the host and others to view. Any plans for that?
That's a great idea. Right now, it needs to be done manually, but another way is really to have that phone recorded in our backend, and then we can use the name. So there are multiple ideas how to provide that capability. Today, it's manual.
Is there a specific place or community to track and see upcoming features and feature requests? Oded?
So right now we have the release notes that we provide usually a week in advance what is coming in a release. And you can go to zoom.us, look for the release notes. You can even sign up to follow, and we will send an SMS update or an email update when a release is coming, when we update the release notes. We're thinking of other ways to share, but right now this is the way.
And how can I share a feature request? Coming to these webinars is a great way. We get a lot of good ideas here.
I think, Brandon, you can add to the process itself, but you can go to our support website and you can submit a request in the support website.
Exactly.
Yeah, no doubt. I know your team does a lot of meeting with customers, and you frequently talk about how much your customers influence your roadmap and where you're going. So we really do appreciate all of your input and ideas. Also, our social team is frequently posting what they're hearing on social channels as well. But go ahead and reach out to your CSMs or support. We'd love to hear your ideas.
And also, Janelle, after the meeting is over, remember there's a dialog box, right, where you can submit the feedback. You also can do that too, right, to simplify the process if you want to.
How do I stream to YouTube at the same time that I'm running a Zoom meeting? And can the video be sent to a private page?
So right now, you can enable the live streaming option on your account. And once you're in the meeting, there'll be an option along the bottom to start a live stream. And at that point, it will ask the details about which service you'd like to stream that to, Facebook, YouTube, or you can put in the streaming settings for a custom service that supports standard-based streaming protocols. So a lot of flexibility there.
Excellent. We have a question here of the brand new to Zoom, so welcome. I hope you're enjoying it. Does Zoom have someone who will walk us through or give us a class, especially some of the terminology that may not be familiar? I think, go ahead, Brendan.
So one of the things that I would highly encourage folks to look at is actually our events page that talks about all of the different live training options that we have throughout the week, that does a deep dive into Zoom and also gives you access to experts on our team that are willing to answer any question about the product. Those are some of the best sessions, and I know that they try to highly customize that to the audience that's there.
A lot of trainings, and some of them are on demand as well, but there's also a lot of live trainings that you can get all your answers questioned. There's one person asking, where can I find more information on how best to secure my meetings? Lynn, would you like to talk to that?
Sure. We do have a website up. I believe it is still located under our COVID-19 response, but we have trust and safety and a number of security and privacy pages there under that COVID response location on the Zoom sites. And please visit there, and there are just a number of different articles and resources for teachers, for many others of you who may need some additional resources in terms of how to be locking down those meetings.
Excellent. And then I do believe Kristen O'Rourke may post a link in the Zoom chat here for the live recordings and recorded trainings, and they do run daily trainings on how to secure your meetings. So be sure to check those out as well. As a host, can I rearrange the gallery view, and can the meeting, if I rearrange the gallery view, can the meeting participants rearrange it in a different way?
The answer is yes, unless the host kind of spotlights once they actually lock down the. So basically, let me explain. Each participant can change the order the way they want to. Only the host can actually rearrange and lock it down so that everybody gets the same view.
Excellent. Can you speak to unauthenticated participants automatically going to the waiting room, and how do I set that up?
Yes, if you go to the settings on the web portal and you choose the security settings, the first one that shows up is the waiting room settings. And then once you enable waiting room, you have the waiting room options. And if you click the edit options, you can there decide if everyone goes through the waiting room, or only like it can skip users that are in your account. So that's kind of the option that you have. And this way you can have only guests go to the waiting room, while people who are in your account, in your company, will just get into the meeting directly.
What are the benefits of using the registration option for a meeting?
There's a number of benefits associated with registration. We know some customers that use that to ask questions about participants ahead of joining, so that they have sort of a profile of folks that are going to be there. The other item is with meeting registration, you can set for manual approval, so that can actually limit who has access to the meeting to just those folks that you have gone in and said they can attend. So it allows visibility and control of the participants that are in a session.
And Christine's asking, regarding Zoomtopia, is it going to be via Zoom? And is it for people like us in the business who have pro Zoom accounts? And what are some of the subjects being covered? So Christine, I'm so glad you asked that. It is going to be via Zoom. You can also stream it. So if you would like to do that, it will be streamed as well. Yes, absolutely. It's for people with pro accounts, free accounts, enterprise accounts, education accounts. There is something for everybody here. So we hope that you do attend. Some of the sessions, we have, I believe they said over 80 sessions, over 125 speakers. So the agenda actually went up yesterday. If you go to zoomtopia.com, you can go ahead and build your agenda. As soon as you register, it's free. So go ahead and register. And there are topics from education, healthcare, financial services, government, Zoom rooms, Zoom phone. You're going to just find there's something for everybody. And there's a lot of really fun things going in as well. Just like Eric said, we can't give you a hug, but we want to make this as fun as we can and make it just a really special virtual event. So we hope that you will attend. That was my plug. Christine, thank you for that question. Let's see, when someone uses a report a user function in the security icon menu, where does that message go and how can we reach out to Zoom?
I think that one's for me. Thank you so much, Janelle. So we do have a couple of different ways right now for people to report concerns to the trust and safety team. Please go ahead and use the report a user button, or if you'd like, the email is trust@zoom.us, trust@zoom.us. And if you send us that, whether it relates to, again, something that happens in the classroom or anywhere else in any other of your meetings, please do let us know if you have an issue and we will look into it and investigate it. And if it's appropriate, we will also work with law enforcement. But please do give us that, send us word and we will look at that. We have a really great team. They're very, very dedicated. And we want to make sure that you have the best experience that you can have on Zoom. So that team we'll jump on those as best we can, but we'll absolutely follow up with you. Trust@zoom.us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any plans to allow people to authenticate based on a domain, even if they're not a part of your account?
So right now we do have that option. If when setting up a meeting, you check the users must be signed into Zoom and then specify that they must be part of a certain domain, we'll just check if they're part of that domain, regardless of the account that they belong to.
Excellent. Is there a way to enable noise reduction on Zoom?
Yes, we do have that feature. We actually recently enhanced it, and it's a feature that is available on the audio settings on the client side. It's enabled by default, but you can turn it, you kind of change the level of noise reduction. So I suggest keep it in the default where it's automatic, but if you really want to see different levels, you can go into the settings and change the levels.
Yeah, so just quickly, if you change the level to high, like when you press the keyboard and the dog, the barking and all those kind of noise will be gone, right? So that's, but however, will for sure consume your CPU a little bit more, but it's still manageable.
I was very happy to hear yesterday, nobody could hear my standing desk going up and down.
You can hear that.
Can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Across all your achievements during your rockstar growth, Eric, this is for you. What are you most proud of as a team? Actually, it can be for everyone. It says as a team.
Yeah, first of all, I'm really proud of every Zoom employee. They work so hard and really stay focused on our company culture. Think about everything, how to care for the customers, how to care for each other. That's the reason why no matter what kinds of challenges we are facing, we are very recharged, every day, right? So yeah, that's why I'm very proud. It's a great team and everything open, transparent. We care about each other together. We care about the customers. Yeah, so very, very proud.
Janelle, may I just also jump in on that if Eric doesn't mind and say that, just as a team member, I'm really proud of Zoom for providing the services to schools for over 100,000 schools for free, I believe is what Eric said earlier today, but also as of last June. So, we're all feel very lucky to still be working and be okay during this difficult time when we know a lot of people are not. And I think, we're just super proud to be able to provide Zoom to those schools and to be a part of that.
Very well said. Thank you, Lee.
Odette and Brendan. So
I mean, I think I would just echo the previous comments of that internal feeling and the drive that I see across the entire team of helping everyone, be it schools, be it individuals, and being able to offer this technology and looking at how we can continue to up level it, because we know how critical it is for folks to be connected in these times, and being able to offer options to enable those connections globally. Something I've been very proud of how the team's been rallying to help ensure that that can happen.
Yeah, I think just to add to that on my side, really the culture that Eric started from day one of listening to customers, understanding their needs, really helped us, and we kind of continued that during the crisis and whatever is happening around in the world, so that we can actually continue to help those customers and provide that support that was needed in this dire situation.
And Adam, you probably have the newest perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Frankly, it's been a fantastic journey being here already. I've been really enjoyed the impact. My son's own school uses Zoom, and they had to go into quarantine, so it was great to have that there and things just working. It's really it's wonderful having a sense of mission and purpose in your job. Being in security, you get that a lot anyway, but right now in this unique moment in time, one of the reasons I came to Zoom was the challenge, and really the opportunity was to have such a great impact across the world. I'm really happy to be here and build a great team that does that.
Excellent.
And also, Janelle can say with Adam coming on board, we can sleep well on our bug bounty program.
Yes. Yes, we're grateful for you, Adam, as well.
Happy
I
to be
will
here.
say I've just spent the last day or two. We have the Innovation Awards for Zoomtopia, and we have hundreds of videos that have been sent in, and it's recharging to see all the ways that people are using Zoom and how grateful they are for it. So you guys keep us going, really. I mean, as Eric said, I'm proud of how hard our whole team is working, and just trying to provide the best service possible. And Eric, it's just such a pleasure to work with you and your leadership team, because everybody's so dedicated. It's amazing. All right, with that, we are at the top of the hour. Eric, any parting words or thoughts?
Yeah, I would say, yes, thank you all for your great support and trust. We will do all we can to keep delivering happiness to you. We take privacy and security very, very seriously. We are very, very committed. Thank you all. See you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.